If you're a cash physical therapy practice and you want to start running paid advertising for your clinic to get a little bit more consistency and predictability in your schedule, the first thing that you need to learn is how to follow up with these leads. If you can't get them on the phone, what's the point in running ads? Today I'm going to cover the ultimate lead follow-up process that's generated our clients more than $1.6 million just in the last 12 months and more than $1.4 million in our own cash practice. Check it out. If you want to build a thriving six-figure cash physical therapy practice, whether that is per month or per year, eventually you're going to have to start finding more marketing channels that are more scalable. We can't rely on word of mouth, referrals, and workshops forever. There's just not enough time. And so when you start to scale your practice and you start to run ads, it can be a very humbling experience because your sales systems just aren't built for that type of traffic. Up until now, your sales systems have been built around your word of mouth and your really hot leads who already know they want to work with you. They already know, like, and trust you. But once we start to scale and we start to run paid ads, we're starting to reach an audience that, although they might have the problems that you solve and they might be great fit clients, they don't know, like, or trust you yet. And so they can be reluctant to get on the phone with you or to schedule out of fear of it wasting their time. And so you have to have a bulletproof process for getting a hold of them, for building that relationship, and making sure that you get them on the phone to give the chance to build the value, demonstrate how your clinic is different from what they've tried in the past, and help them believe that you can get them the transformation that you're looking for. Most cash practices fail when they start running ads because they think they're getting low quality leads. They're not able to get a hold of them to even have a chance to get them on the schedule. They think that they have a quality problem, when in reality, most of the time, they just have a follow-up problem. They're not getting a hold of these people fast enough or going and trying to get a hold of them enough times. Most people just give up after one or two attempts to call them, but we know that our clients are extremely busy. There's a million different reasons why they might not have answered their phone. And so we need to have a process for systematically following up with them, giving yourself ample opportunity to get a hold of them at the times that they're most likely to answer the phone. So today I'm going to be covering not just when and how to call your prospects, but how to leave voicemails, what emails, what texts to send, and what times of the day we found that it's most likely to get a hold of a patient to get them on the schedule. Now, before I dive into that, if you don't know who I am, I'm Jordan Mather. I'm the co-founder of Clinical Marketer, where we help cash physical therapists scale to 6 or 7 figures by turning around and teaching exactly what we've done in our own practice to grow it to 6 figures per month. So if you want to learn the marketing and sales tactics that are working the best right now, make sure to subscribe and like this channel. If you have any questions or requests for videos that you'd like us to make in the future, make sure to throw them in the comments. Okay, enough of that. Let's dive into the ultimate lead follow-up process that's going to turn cold traffic into hot, cash-paying patients. Now, before we dive in, I just want to clear up some definitions. When I say cold traffic, I mean anyone that doesn't know, like, or trust you yet. This could be people who opted in through your ads, this could be people who opted in through your website or your Google My Business. Basically, people that have identified and raised their hand that they do have the problem that you solve, but they aren't completely sold that you are the right person for it. Now, hot traffic, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. These are people who already know, like, and trust you. They're probably referred to you by a friend. They're maybe attended one of your workshops and they got to know you a little bit and they know that they already want to work with you. When we're running paid ads, we're targeting cold traffic. These are people that, although they have the issue, they don't know you yet. And so we need to make sure that we have systems in place that give them the instant gratification needed to help carry their momentum forward, to take the actions that you want them to take. We need to be very quick with our follow-up, because if someone opts into your Facebook ads and then it takes you a day or 2 days to be able to get back to them, they've likely already forgotten that they opted in, or they already went with one of your competitors. So speed is absolutely key when it comes to running paid ads and following up with any sort of cold traffic that has opted in through any of your marketing channels. Now, most cash practices that we've worked with, and we've worked with over 200 just in the last 12 months, most of them have built all of their systems and their processes for hot traffic, meaning they've never really had to sell or focus on creating processes and a patient experience that gets people to want to work with them that didn't already know that they existed. But if we start to reframe how we build our processes and structure them to convert cold traffic, not only are you going to grow faster than you ever have before, but even the warm traffic is going to get an even richer, better experience, making it more likely that not only the cold traffic converts, but you're going to have a higher conversion rate from the warm and hot traffic that leads to more compliance, people showing up to more visits, and people referring more of their friends and family. So it is absolutely key to start focusing our business on learning how to master the systems and the processes for getting people that have no clue who you are to be lining up to work with you and to pay your cash rates. Now, when practices initially start running paid ads, there's two reasons why they fail to get their leads to convert into patients. Number one is that they're just not following up fast enough, and number two is that they're not following up enough times. The IRC's research indicates that salespeople who follow up with leads within 5 minutes of them opting in are 9 times more likely to convert them. Between 30 and 50% of customers are likely to buy from vendors that respond first. And so speed is absolutely crucial within this follow-up process. And so we either need automated systems or a designated person available to be able to follow up with these leads as fast as possible to maximize the amount of return that you're going to get from your paid advertising. Now, another important law and statistic that you need to keep in mind when it comes to following up is the law of sevens. This is basically a rule that was discovered by the movie industry that realized that before people will go and see a movie, they need to see a message at least 7 times before someone is convinced that they want to do business with you or to go and see the movie. And that has basically become standard across marketing, across every single industry in the world ever since. And so when it comes to following up once or twice is not enough. We want to be able to have as many touch points as we can to get people to want to work with us. Now, 7 might be a little out there for some people. It might be impossible for some people, but we want to keep that in mind and realize that we need to follow up multiple days through multiple different channels to create enough touch points to get their attention long enough for them to want to get on a call with you. And so today we're going to be covering our follow-up process. It covers the multiple days sequence that we use to make sure that we capitalize and maximize on every single lead that comes through the door to maximize our profitability and make sure that our ads are a smashing success. So speed, consistency, and persistence is extremely important when it comes to lead follow-up. But for busy clinicians and especially solo providers, answering the phone every single time it rings and following up with leads within that 5-minute window can be pretty difficult. To give our leads the instant gratification that they've become accustomed to within the marketplace and what they've grown to expect, we need a personalized and automated system that allows them to take the next step in your sales process, whether that's scheduling an appointment or scheduling a phone call. So the first 2 strategies I'm going to share with you are both automated systems that are absolutely key in making sure that the people who opt into your ads are immediately given the next step and feel that they've actually contacted someone to keep their interest and to carry that momentum forward to all the way through to the point where they actually schedule that appointment. The first automated strategy is for when people call the practice, but you're not able to answer right away. And we don't mean voicemail. We need something to actually follow up with them right away to make them feel like they did contact someone. Otherwise, they're just going to let it go, find someone else, or just forget altogether that they opted in. The other automated sequence are for those that actually opt in through our ads so that we can instantly deliver what it is they opted in for, delivering whatever the next step is that we want them to take. So let's actually show you how to set up that first automation to actually text a lead every single time they call the clinic and they reach the voicemail. Let's check it out. Now, there are a lot of marketing tools for practices that make it pretty simple to send an automated text when a missed call comes through. For us, we use Clinical Marketer Hub. It's our own HIPAA compliant marketing tool for practices that we provide all of our clients with. And in here, all we have to do is go to our settings, and there's this pre-built tool in here that makes it extremely simple. All we have to do is check this box and turn it on. Now, we basically say whenever someone calls this number and it goes to voicemail, send them this follow-up text right away. Hi, this is clinic name. We saw that we missed your call. How can we help? Now, the lead is able to continue that momentum forward to take that next step and reply saying what their issue is. And this buys you time to wrap up with your patient, wrap up with your notes, whatever you may be doing, to be able to call them back in a few minutes without them losing any momentum. If you do want to learn more about how to get a free trial of this tool, I definitely recommend it. It comes with all of our practices systems already pre-built into it. Just click the link beneath this video. You can request a free trial and we'll give you a demo to make sure that this is a good fit for your practice. Okay, now let's take a look at the second automated campaign that we need to have going out to every single lead who opts into either our ads or our website. So here we have the exact same campaign that our clients have used to generate almost $2 million just in the last year to instantly follow up with every lead that comes in through their Facebook ads. And so how this works is, one, when people opt into our ads, we don't only want to send them an automated message. We need also an automated message going to us and our team notifying us that there's someone that we need to follow up with right away. And so we send internal notifications via email, via text, and we want to create an opportunity within our patient pipeline where we can track where they're at within our sales process. And so those are just basic internal housekeeping items that you want to have automated if your system allows it. And so we also have this automation set up so that as soon as a lead comes through, we have it automatically call the clinic. And so when the clinic answers the phone, the machine's actually going to say new shoulder lead with their actual name. And then it'll ask you to press a button to actually connect. And so this way, it kind of takes the burden off of you to be monitoring and watching every single new leads coming in, because the system is actually going to call the clinic, let you know that you have a new lead, and if you have a moment to talk with them, you just press a button and then it connects you with that lead. Super powerful automation. Definitely check out to see if this is a tool that you have. It makes following up with your leads so much easier. Highly recommend. And so now we basically send them an email and a text to give them the lead, the instant gratification that they need. And so we give them the confirmation with the next steps for whatever offer that they just opted in for. It could be a $47 bulletproof shoulder assessment. It could be a $97 healthy mama assessment. Whatever offer you're advertising, we want to make sure that it's abundantly clear that this is what this email is about. And so we basically tell them, like, congratulations, you claimed one of our vouchers. Tell them more about what this offer all includes and remind them how much it's actually worth. And so I'm not going to go into what price anchoring is and pricing strategy and offer creation strategies right now, but we just want to remind them what it is that they actually opted in for, what the benefit of it is, and what the unique offer is, what the opportunity looks like. And then give them what the next step is, whether that is scheduling a discovery call or to actually book an appointment. When we're running paid ads, I highly recommend the next step being a discovery call, just so we can triage them over the phone and make sure that they're the right fit person. Because the last thing we want when we're running paid ads is the wrong people jumping in, getting on the schedule, coming in for a discounted evaluation, only to find out that they are not someone who would ever actually convert on packages. We want to have a phone call with them initially to make sure that we're a right fit for each other, and if not, that's totally okay. Then we can refer them elsewhere. But we want to make sure that we have this next step inside of this email. Okay? We also do the same thing through text, because text open rates are near 90% these days, whereas email is closer to 15%. And so we always want to send a text message as well. We do attach a voucher to this, so that they not only get the text, but they also get a picture of the voucher that they just opted in for, something that's a little bit more tangible to get them excited. Okay, once those are sent, we're going to wait 2 minutes and then give them an extra incentive to take the next step within the process. And so we call these thank you offers. And so basically we'll say, hey, if you call and schedule your appointment right now, then we'll give you an extra $10 off, or we'll give you a free massage, or we'll give you this free course. Whatever it might be, you want to incentivize them to take action right now, because the longer you wait, the longer they delay in scheduling, the less likely it is that they're ever going to convert. So now we want to wait at least 1 day before we send them anything else. And we want to make sure that there are automations in place that if they do schedule their appointment, they're removed from this campaign. But it's very important that we have this automated system to continue to follow up with them if we don't get a hold of them and if they don't take that next step. And so we wait 1 day. Then we send another email saying, don't forget to take the next step, and reiterate all the information that we said on the benefits of our offer, giving them the link that they need to take the next step. And then this one is really just designed to kind of start a conversation. I just want to make sure that I sent the text to the right person. Is this so-and-so? And so we have a really high response rate to this. So if a lead comes in, you're not able to get a hold of them, they don't reply to this first one, this message has been really, really good at reactivating those individuals to start that conversation, to make sure that, one, we're pretty positive that we know this is the right person. This question is just designed to start that conversation. Okay, then we'll wait another day if we didn't hear back from them and they didn't get scheduled, and then we'll kind of give them kind of a last chance, like, hey, do you still want this? Do you still want to claim this voucher? We still have a few left. And so this is the simplest automated system that you can have. If people don't schedule after going through this 3-day sequence, then I would recommend adding them into what we call an indoctrination email sequence. 7 to 10 email sequence designed to get them to better know, like, and trust you by sharing your story, case studies, how you're different, and helping them believe that working with you has been the missing link in their care and why they haven't been able to find relief with anyone else they might have worked with in the past. If you guys want me to make a video on email nurturing sequences and indoctrination sequences, throw a comment in the chat below and I'll be happy to make one. Now, those are 2 automated processes, but now let's talk about the manual next steps process, which consists of calling the prospect, leaving voicemails, texting them, and emailing them all manually. Even though we have these automated systems following up with each and every lead, we still want to do absolutely every single thing we can to make sure that we get that lead on the phone as quickly as possible. Now, if you've ever done events or expos, think of automations as your signage, your flyers, your posters, all the other marketing pieces that kind of make up your station and your stand. Now we know that flyers, posters, all these things are great and they add to the experience, but they are not what actually get people to buy. We need a salesperson working the booth who's actually engaging with people, taking the initiative to go out, introduce themselves, and start building that relationship. If you're running ads and you only rely on these automations, it's kind of like standing still at an event table and hoping that people just become patients just by picking up and looking at your flyers. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work out too well. So we need to take the initiative to call every single lead as quickly as they can once they opt in to make sure that we have the opportunity to get them on the phone, to make sure that we're able to have the conversations to build that relationship and give us the best chance at turning them into a package sale. Now remember, most cash practices fail at this stuff because of one of two reasons. Either they aren't following up with people fast enough or they're not following up with them just enough. A lot of practices that we've worked with just follow up with someone once or twice, then they give up on them. Or they're only calling leads at the very end of their day and wondering why they're not getting a hold of anyone. Odds are the people you're following up with are busy. So there's a high probability that when you're calling, this individual is just that busy. And so we have to try contacting them through different channels at different times to give us the best chance of actually getting a hold of them. We also need to remember that if you call leads at the very end of the day, you're treating them like your lowest priority. And if you treat your leads like a low priority, you're going to get low priority results. And so we need to make sure that we're making this the biggest priority in our business. After all, lead generation and sales is the most important part of business. I know you can argue that outcomes are the most important piece, but you can't have outcomes unless you have people coming in the door. And so I would argue that mastering this and prioritizing lead follow-up to be the most important part of your practice if you're looking to build a six-figure practice, whether that is per year or per month. This is very, very important, and so we need to make sure that we have systems in place that allow us to follow up these leads. Now I'm going to share my screen and show you our exact manual follow process on how and when to call your prospects, what to do when they do answer, what to do when they don't answer, so you have absolute clarity on how to manage each of your leads. So this is the exact document that we give all of our mastermind members to help them master following up with each and every lead that comes through. It covers how to call them, when to call them, what to say, and what to do if they do not answer the phone. And so again, the objective with these calls is to figure out if they are a right fit. So we're only trying to get a yes or a no. And neither one is better than the other. If they say no, perfect. We don't have to continue to follow up with them. It saves us time and money. If they say yes, perfect. We'll get them scheduled. And so just realize that when you're doing this follow-up, we're not just trying to get them scheduled. All we're really trying to do is determine if they are the right fit. And then if so, then we'll focus on getting them scheduled. And so as you'll find in this 3-day follow-up system, everything is designed to just get a conversation started with them. And so the first thing you need to do on day one, as soon as a lead comes through, you need to call them. Now, if you follow the process that we use and we use our software, or you found that your CRM allows similar automations, as soon as a lead comes through, the system will call the practice, and if you're available, it'll connect you with the lead. But if you're busy, you're in between patients, you need to call them manually as soon as humanly possible. And so when you call them, if you get a hold of them, we do have a script for you to download that has generated millions of dollars for our own practice and millions of dollars for our clients. And so if you want to download that script and go through the entire training and how to use it, check out this video linked right here or beneath this video. But what are you going to do if they do not answer? And sometimes that is going to be the case. There's a lot of people that opt into your ads that although they might be perfect quality clients, they're just not ready to take that next step. And that's okay, because if you do not answer the phone and they do not get scheduled within this 3-day sequence, we're just going to add them to our monthly or weekly email campaigns to continue to stay in front of them, to let them come in when they are ready. But if they do not answer the phone right away, the first thing we want to do is to leave them a voicemail. And there is a very strategic way to do voicemail, and a lot of people don't do this right. And so basically we just want to, one, let them know why we're calling, let them know that we do have a limited time offer that they did opt in for, but we're confident that we can help them, but we're not 100% sure. We just have a few questions for them. And so always at the end of your email, always say that, hey, if I do not hear back from you, I'll give you a call again tomorrow. And so this tells them that you're not going to stop. You're going to keep following up with them because you want to help them. And so this is going to tell them, okay, whether it's a yes or no, they're going to call just to basically either end the process or take the next step. And so in every single voicemail, always say they're going to follow up with them the next day. It increases the odds that they're actually going to answer. And so once you leave that voicemail, We also want to give them a text and an email. And so we send them a text basically introducing ourselves, letting them know that, hey, you opted in this offer. I'm just trying to make sure that it is a right fit for you. Let me know when's a good time for me to call you back or for us to have a conversation to make sure that we're the right fit for you. Okay, and then our email basically says the same thing. Subject line, miss you, something very catchy, something that's very clickable, something that's going to get people to open that email and see that you're trying to get a hold of them. And so again, we're just reiterating that we're just trying to help, just want to have a conversation. We're not trying to sell you anything at this point. We just want to have a conversation. So that's the end of day 1. And then for days 2 and 3, we're more or less rinsing and repeating, but we do change things up a little bit. And so on day 2, we are going to call them again as soon as we can, and we're going to leave them a very similar voicemail, letting them know that, hey, if you don't answer, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to call you again the next day. And by continuing to do this, again, people are going to start to call you back and respond to these texts and to these emails. And so in this one, we're going to have a slightly different call to actions that I want to drop to see if you would like to schedule your appointment. Whereas the first email is talking about, why don't you give me a call back, I want to have a conversation. This next one is a little bit more direct. Let's schedule your consultation and let me know when's going to be a good time to get you on the phone. So you'll find that a lot of leads do reply to both these texts and emails. And so you want to be watching for those texts and those emails to be coming through. Okay, subject line, do you want this? Let them know that if they don't take you up on this, this is going to be taken away from them eventually. And so we're getting a little bit more aggressive as each day goes through. And so on day 3, this is where we're really just basically saying like, hey, this is your last chance to get a hold of this. If you want this, please let us know. I really don't want to continue to bother you. Okay, and so we're being very personal here. We're letting them know that, hey, we don't want to bug you. We're just trying to figure out if we can help you. Okay, and then we do something similar with the text. And so we like to send a little image. We get a lot of laughs from this one, and we find a lot of our leads end up converting based off of this text with this little Kermit the Frog saying, hoping to hear back from you. A lot of people reply to this, especially when we start to talk to the point of, hey, if you don't get back to us, we're going to take this offer you opted in for away. And so we call that the takeaway. It works extremely well. And so if you guys want to use this script, please feel free to grab it. It is linked beneath this video where you can download it, copy and paste all of these pieces into your CRM. So it's very easy for you to just send this to each and every patient, so you don't have to type it up for each and every individual lead that comes through. You should be able to save that as a template in your CRM to make this whole thing take about 2 seconds for each and every lead that comes through. Now, before you go and start following up with all of your leads, I do want to make sure that you have the right expectations going into this. And there's really 6 different things that I want you to keep in mind when you're starting to do this. Number 1 is the best time to follow up is between 8 and 10 a.m. and 4 to 6 p.m. A lot of people just call their leads in between their patient visits, which ultimately results in getting people when they're at their busiest times. Okay, and so we want to make sure that we are keeping in mind at what times we're calling people that they're actually converting. And so 8 to 10 a.m. and 4 to 6 is what works the best for us, but I want you to be mindful of when you call people, when do they convert, and so you can start to keep track of like, okay, for your community, in your area, when are the best, most optimal times to follow up with these leads. And I would probably block those off on your calendar to make this a top priority part of your business. Number 2, and I want to reiterate this because it's worth saying again, is that when a lead comes in, you need to follow up with them within 5 to 10 minutes. It massively increases the odds that you're going to actually get this person booked and convert them on a cash sale. Now, our automated messages do help with this, but you do need to make it a top priority to follow up with them manually as soon as you're able. Now, number 3 is that you need to follow up with every single lead for 3 days straight. I'd actually recommend more if you have the resources to be able to do that, but at the bare minimum, follow up for 3 days straight until they answer and give you a yes or a no. Okay, it doesn't matter which one it is. If they say no, it's perfect. You don't need to continue to follow up with them. If they say yes, perfect. They're a hot lead. Get them on the schedule so you can close them. The number 4, after your 3 days, I don't stop following up with them. We don't want to stop following up and nurturing leads until we get a no. We want to follow up with them in perpetuity until we get one of those answers. And so after you follow up with them for 3 days straight, I would change it down to once per week and then once per month. There are some automated ways that you can do this that I can talk about in a future video, but make sure that we don't give up on leads because these are people that raised their hand. They said they have a problem that you can help them with. And so right now might not be the most opportune time, but continue to follow up with them. You'll find that a lot of the leads that come in end up scheduling next week or next month. And so it's very important to make sure that we stay in front of them. And then number 5, it is completely unacceptable to wait for leads to call you. That is a very entitled position to come from. And a lot of business owners can have this when they're so used to warm traffic and referrals coming into their business. But when you start running ads, you are obligated to make your best effort to get a hold of these leads and not expect them to just chase you down just because of the credentials behind your name. As the business owner, you are obligated to help these people make the best decision for themselves, whether they know you yet or not. And so make sure that you do follow up with these people as quickly as you can yourself, or if someone on your team do it. And then number 6, make sure that you're doing all this follow-up from a position of servitude, not selfishness. So a lot of practice owners struggle with following up with leads for multiple days because they feel like they're bugging someone. And it makes sense to feel like you're bugging someone if you were just trying to sell them. Okay, this isn't about selling. If you position all of these follow-ups and all of these calls as something, as you are just trying to find absolute clarity on what their problem is so that you can give them the best expert advice that you can, whether that is working with you or not, becomes a lot easier and makes a lot more sense to continue to follow up with these people. Okay, and so make sure that you're doing this for the benefit of this individual and remove yourself emotionally from whether or not they actually convert. Again, this whole follow-up, it's all about just getting a yes or a no. And if it is a no, that's fine. Refer them elsewhere. You no longer have to continue to follow up with them. But make sure that you're approaching this with the right mindset and that you really are just trying to help these people. And that's why it's okay to continue to follow up with them. And that's it, you guys. This is how our clients have generated millions of dollars using Facebook ads. This is how you convert cold traffic into hot, cash-paying patients. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. If you have questions, throw them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. If you want more weekly training on what's working to grow cash physical therapy practices, make sure you subscribe to the channel. The next video I'd recommend checking out is our first call script, because once you get a hold of these leads, you want to make sure you know how to convert them into cash-paying patients. Now, a lot of people, especially if you're running Facebook ads, have never considered to pay cash for health-related services. And so you want to make sure that you check out our scripts, you understand how to overcome those objections, you know how to build value to make it a no-brainer for them to pay out of pocket for your services. Check it out.